Urfreshtv V10 here, and I've got another special guest from the grassroots scene, someone I've had the pleasure of playing with actually. When I was younger growing up, he kind of guided me. And he's just finished a job with Westfield. It's Tony Reid. How you doing, Tony? You alright?
Not too bad, Dan. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad.
You're good. Having me?
So I'm just gonna start from the very beginning in terms of your management career. So you was a player. Did you always want to be a manager whilst you was playing, or is it something you kind of fell into? How did that transition come about?
Well, you played with me. You knew I was one of the characters in the changing rooms. Me falling as a manager never ever crossed my mind. But when I went into like a player coaching kind of role, it kind of did cross my mind just a little bit, only for the simple fact that I was bringing a load of youngsters with myself, and you know that manager was getting all the acclaim and all the benefits, and I was like, do you know what? You know, I'm not getting anything. I'm just a player coach, and the manager, he's getting the limelight. And take nothing away from it, because I enjoy promoting these youngsters at the same time. You know, taking kids off from the streets or from, you know, playground football, as you would call it, you know, to playing semi-pro. And I wouldn't say I kind of intentionally wanted to be a manager. It kind of just happened, kind of thing.
So like, what was the first opportunity that came your way, and how did that unfold?
Eastbourne Town. I remember, I think I just left Merstrom.
Okay.
And I went back to the Sussex County, and a guy called Kevin, he rang me up and he goes, you know, I want you to come and play with me. I think at that time I used to have one or two youngsters following me about as well. Aaron, Jamal King, Sasha McVeigh, a young kid called Zach. And I just had a few youngsters just, you know, obviously when we were playing. And he goes, wants me to come down as a player coach. I thought, you know, Eastbourne's a little bit far, but don't get me wrong, it was an opportunity, you know, so I took it on board. And that's where it started.
Yeah, that's good. And do you know what? Obviously, in both the questions I've just asked, like, you're mentioning the youngsters. So it seems like that's something that's a part of the passion behind the management. It was like, is it a case of you seeing a lot of young talent that maybe is not getting opportunities they deserve, or they didn't see the opportunities that are available to them, so you kind of wanted to show them what they could do? Where does that passion come from with the kids that was following you and stuff like that?
You know what, Dan? I think it is a bit of both, actually. And it started with myself not having those opportunities as well. You know, they all say there's politics in football. I kind of tend to agree with that from being of a young age as well. I experienced, you know, tough times getting into teams and, you know, being left out, or if you wasn't somebody, you wasn't a name, or you didn't play at a pro club, you know, you weren't getting in. And for me, I'll be like, why you know, because I played for Chelsea, or I played for Crystal Palace Academy or youth team, or I had trials there, why should that, you know, stop me from playing semi-pro? And I kind of agreed with that. I didn't like that. You know, I think you should be played on merit. If you're good enough to play them. And so for me, seeing a lot of youngsters not getting these opportunities made me think, you know what, I'm going to bring you in, because, you know, there's a lot of talent out there, especially grassroots football, and there's so much kids that are frightened to take that step because, one, they don't know the system, and secondly, it's a step for them. You know, if you don't know nobody and you don't know the culture of the football itself, you're gonna just carry on playing with your mates as such. You know, so if there's somebody that's got a platform, why not use it? Why not introduce these youngsters, you know, into the game?
Yeah, that's big, man. And obviously I commend you for that, because it's similar of what I've started now as well. But I was going to fast forward, because obviously whilst I was still playing, old man, I was still playing, but you was gaining a very big reputation as a manager. And obviously you took over Westfield. You won the combined counties Prem, I believe. Took them into the Ryman South. And I think there was no pushovers there either. Like, he was definitely top end of the table. So along that journey, there was a lot of talented players that you had playing for you. I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of talented players that played for you. And what I'd noticed is you seem to have a knack of getting the best out of talented players that maybe in the culture might be deemed to have an attitude problem or whatever. But these players were really working their socks off for you. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're playing against a team and there's talented players, that's one thing. But when you're playing against a team of talent that works hard, that's hard to beat. So how did you get the best out of these players? Like, it seems like you had a very military style of management, because these players weren't looking to put a foot wrong. Do you know what I mean? So how did you do that?
Wow. Okay, coming from being a player, I think I could relate to a load of players. I could also speak the language as well.
Yeah.
Understand from, know the mentality. You know, it weren't a case about me and them or me against them. It's me getting them to progress, me getting them to be better than what they are. Understanding how football should be played. You know, when you get a youngster involved, everybody, you know, many clubs want to change that person, get them to play a certain way. That defies the object, really. You've got a talent. Get to know that talent and get that talent out of that individual. And when you do, you're going to get the best out of players. And I believe that if you let a player, don't put no restraints on him, let him flourish, let him express himself in the right areas. But in the same time, you've got to also do the ugly part as well. Everybody can attack, everybody can score goals. We both know that. But it's the ugly side. Can you defend as well? Can you do the running backwards? You know, everybody wants to be the number 9, the number 10, have the limelight. But that all comes with discipline as well. You know, you've got to have the right attitude. And most of these kids, they didn't have the right attitude, not the right discipline. And I think what it is some needs an arm around them, some needs a cuddle. But I was always honest with them. I used to tell them, you know, you're really good. Like, you should be going places. But you know what? You need to work on certain things. And if you get that balance, then you're going to have a player.
Yeah, it sounds like it's earning that mutual respect kind of thing from the player, but getting their respect to a degree where they trust you to be honest with them, and you know, it's not a digging out thing. You really want the best for them, kind of thing. And
yeah, and I think I've had don't get me wrong, I'm very humble and modest, you know, and to hear what you're saying, that I made a reputation. I kind of shy away from that. The reason being because I don't want to be bossy or overconfident, that because it can always come and bite you back in the bum. But I think me showing confidence to the players and believing in what they can do, I think gives them that confidence, and that, you know, that they're gonna play and they're gonna run through walls and up to date. You know, like I'm hearing the same thing that you're saying. You know, but I still don't see it. I just see that individual, and I think, you know what, there's something about it. He's got a little spark about him. How do I ignite that spark and get it out of him? Yeah,
that's it. That's proper good, man. And I just to stick, I'm going to move on in a second, but I just want to stick with the players, because obviously this is part of the passion for our platform. A lot of the players you've managed happen to play in the Sunday league that we cover, where we started covering last year. So it's like, and these are very talented players. Like I'll name drop a couple. You got like TJ, you've had Aaron Watson, you've had Arson, just to name a few. And these are very, very good players. Would you ever have a problem with them playing on a Sunday as well?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
And I'll be contradicting myself if I were to say I had a problem with them, because, you know, I used to do the same thing as well.
Yeah.
So obviously I was at the later stage of my life in football that I could get away with doing it. So I didn't have really nothing to play for. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I understand managers' frustration when they've got players playing Sunday football, because it's detrimental to your own team. Yeah. You know, if you're playing Sunday and you've got a game on a Tuesday or a Monday as such, you know, is your body going to recover in time, you know, to play the game? And Sunday, especially of that talent as well, you know, it comes with that stigma in it, that players are going to kick you up in the air. You know, you've got talent, just Rose. So obviously you want to protect your players to a certain degree. So you've got to find that mediocre and that balance.
Yeah.
So I know I get playing with your friends and all that, but you've got to also look at the bigger picture. You know, if you're playing semi-pro, you can go into pro football.
Yeah.
You play, you get kicked, and I've seen it happen many a times. That could put you out for God knows when.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I'm not disrespecting Sunday football, because a lot of people don't give Sunday football a lot of credit, because you've got X amount of talented players in Sunday football. Like, you're thinking, wow, you could be playing Saturdays.
Literally.
You know, I totally get why people play on Sundays. I don't have a big problem with it, don't get me wrong, but I do speak to my players. I will say to them, you know, choose your games.
Yeah.
You know, a big game on a Tuesday as such, then you've got to think about the bigger picture, because can your body recover in time to play that game? If you get a knock and then you sit out and then you tell me on a Monday, oh, I fell down the ladder. Come on. You know, you play. But
I agree with you, because that's what I was going to kind of go into and just say. Most of the times it's about communication, respect, and just being sensible. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, as a player, if I'm a player, if I know I'm playing on Saturday, Sunday, and then I've got another game with my Saturday team on a Monday, logic would tell me the Sunday is not wise, because I need to recover for the Monday or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I really get why players want to do that, because you're playing with all your mates. You're playing with your mates from your estate that you grew up with. You know, you've got that brotherhood, that camaraderie between you guys, and I totally get that. And the battle is a little bit different to semi-pro as well. Yeah. Like when you're looking at semi-pro, both I know it's both multicultural nowadays, but there's a little bit of street slang in the change rooms on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You've got to be a little bit political correct when you're on a Saturday. Even though I expect you to behave the same sort of way, you shouldn't be no different. But I think when you're growing up, you have that extra little bit of personal banter with people. Yeah, no,
100%, man. And like, I can totally agree with you. But like you said, I'm glad we can both agree the talent on Sunday, there's plenty of it, and I just want to be able to shine light on all talent generally. So like, obviously this year I'm going to be going into some Saturday teams as well, games, and just trying to highlight talent around, give people opportunities that I never had or you never had. Do you know what I mean? Because it was a lot different when we was playing. But what's next for Reid then? What's next for Tony Reid? I know that you don't strike me as someone that would want to spend too long out of the game. So like, what are you still trying to go down a managerial path, or have you got other plans? What's next?
No. Managing's for me now, Dan. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it's going to be the same for me as a player. You know, it's now waiting for that right opportunity to arise. Yeah. You sit on the fence, but you know, again, it's about that club trying to take that chance or take that gamble with myself. You know, I am going to be confident when I say this. Like, whatever club I go to, I will bring good football. I will bring sexy football. We'll be hard to beat, regardless if it's at combined counties, Ryman South, the Prem, or Conference South, or the Conference. My philosophy is not going to change, and I will bring excitement and good young hungry players. Don't get me wrong. I think I criticise older players. I didn't mean to criticise older players, because you've got some big names in the game that are after the money, you know, and opposed you have a youngster who's new to the game, he's more hungrier. So what would you get? You've got to have a balance. You've got to have that experience with that youngster, with that youthfulness as well, and the inexperienced players. So, do you know what? Me sitting on my sofa, like just watching football as well, is giving me that desire back, but it's also let me recognise about detail of what I want to do. How can I improve my formation? How can I improve players? How can I, become hard to beat? I'm good at attacking, don't get me wrong. I will score plenty of goals against an opposition. But at the same time, it's how do I stop conceding? So my brain's always ticking, don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying this rest period. I want to be, no doubt.
Yeah, man. And it's good that you say that, because I think in football, no matter how experienced or successful you are, it's just, you're always learning. Do you know what I mean? There's always ways to change. The game's always evolving as well. So your brain has to always be ticking like that. But if it is like that, it shows where your kind of passion is right now. You're just still thinking about the managerial side of the game.
I'm. Don't get me wrong. I am hungry. You know, there's unfinished business with myself, and I can put myself into that bracket as well. I'm unknown entity. A lot of you guys, youngsters as well, are looking at me as a status. I look at it differently. I don't think I've broken into that scene as yet. I want to be at my game. I want to be at the top level as well. Amongst, I don't criticize, not players, managers. I don't criticize them, but you know when you play against them, you think, oh, you know, I've heard about you, but when I played against you, you not really brought anything to the table. You know, and I'm not disrespecting them. I'm just saying I can beat you, and that's always a challenge.
Yeah, and that's a part of football as well. Like, I mean, when I was a player, it don't matter who I was playing with. I always thought I was the best, and it wasn't me saying that you're not good. It's just I just had confidence in who I was or whatever. So I think it's good to have that as a manager as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, we played together up front, and I used to tell you the same thing. Go and express yourself. You know, do what you need to do. I remember what to say to you. You know, just be you, and that's what you can ask for. And I'm going to be exactly the same. I'm going to be myself, regardless of what club I go to. You know, new ideas. I'll bring a load of things. You know, I will bring players. You know, I'll bring excitement. I bring good football. You know, people like. One thing I found out recently is that a load of people like to watch me play football, and that's from the fans, and I like that now because I've got a blueprint. And what's special about it? Even the other day, you know, in the last 2 weeks, I've had nearly 15 players. You know, like trialists all calling me for trials at a club. I'm like, guys, I'm not at a club, but what club are you going to? So I must be doing something kind of right. So that's also, you know, encouraging me, you know, to ensure I'll keep my foot on the pedal. But like you said, if I need the right club to arise as well, you know, that's got all the right ingredients, you know, have the same sort of ambition that I've got as well to be at the highest level that I want to play at.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I was going to say, and you kind of touched on it already, but I was going to say, whatever club you do go to, I know that they're going to be fortunate in the sense that a lot of this raw talent that's coming through, they, no disrespect to all the other managers or whatever, and I don't know every manager, by the way, but I know some of these raw talented players from grassroots, young players, they will want to play for someone like you that wants to play attacking football, but also going to get the best out of them as an individual and a person, because it's about characteristics and improving people's mentality just with the attitude towards football, because talent is only talent, and you won't really get anywhere unless you're working hard
No, of course, you know, but don't get me wrong, with that talent also comes with consequences, you know, because a load of boys will automatically think, I should be playing, but you need to understand the game as well and understand my philosophy. If you're not in tune with my philosophy, then it's not going to work. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. You know, I will make mistakes. You know, I will have individuals or players not like the way I do things, or don't think I'm going to give them opportunity, but you've got to show yourself, you know, that you're capable of playing for me, you know, and just the little things, timekeeping, be on time. You know, a lot of people, you know, we have our cultures, and we used to do it as well. You be 10, 15 minutes to a game, but they don't understand that those 10, 15 minutes, it affects me as a person because I'm preparing. You know, I prepare from the moment I wake up, you know, or from the night before. And I'm grateful because I can see the both sides, because I used to be a player. I just rock up my boots, my wash bag, my towel. Players don't see the other side, that, you know, you being late could be down to traffic, family problems. You might have an accident, you could be ill. You know, all those I have to take into consideration. So it only takes a phone call, you know, just to say, I'm going to be late. But I have drilled that into players nowadays about, you know, punctuality and their timekeeping and all that. But it's been as one.
Yeah, no, I can 100% agree with that. And that's what I was saying to, I interviewed Martin Dinan the other days at South Park. And I was saying, that's just like the funny thing about football is that you're a player, you make the same mistakes, then you turn and imagine turn into a manager or a coach, you see the other side, but then it's like you learn too late. It's too late to actually, because when you try to tell these players now that, well, the other side, we know when we was younger, when managers was trying to tell us, we don't really care about that. We was just like, I just want to turn up and play. We're not trying to understand what the manager's problems are. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, man.
But saying that though, you mentioned the likes of TJ now. Obviously, I remember seeing TJ from my 16-year-old when he was playing at Tooting and Mitcham. Yeah. And I remember Wharton and Hersham, man, this kid was electric. Like, he was gone in an instant. Like, he was blowing smoke. And I was like, who is this kid? Like, but they were bringing him in spits and spurts. So I do understand, you know, as a youngster that you are going to get brought in, whether it's 20 minutes, half an hour into a game. But one thing that TJ's done, he's stuck at it and he's matured into a good man, you know, and into a good footballer. And one thing that I had with TJ is just learning. You know, he learned there was things that he wasn't doing in the game that I wanted to do, but do you know what? He got there and he started doing it. So again, you've got to praise the players as well, because if they want to learn, they will learn. You know, they will take information on board, and you saw it for yourself. You know, I had a free-flowing scoring team, you know, and that included TJ, you know, doing that at the right time. You know, I think he will go on to be, wow, what can I say? He hasn't lost his pace. He's filled out a little bit, even though he's a little bit. But, you know, when you speak to other managers and players and you're lining up in a tunnel and they go, man, he's playing, man, he's a whippet. Yeah. I love those comments, because that's already put the fear factor into the opposition that, you know what, you're going to have a game today. Yeah, exactly. It's like you're psychologically got an advantage already. Yeah, man. And obviously, TJ is a very, very talented player. But you have people like Arjan as well. So what, like all the players you managed, like who would you say was the most talented, or not even talented, just the player that you enjoyed coaching and working with the most, and why? Right, so he's going to get a lot of stick for this. Yeah. Aaron Watson. I love that guy, man. Right, so believe it or not, I've now had Aaron with me for 9 years. Yeah, on Saturday. Sorry? On a Saturday, for a Saturday team. I took Aaron from Park Football. I remember playing against him on a Wednesday night, Crystal Palace. Yeah. This guy told me about him. He goes, got to come watch this kid. And I remember I was in the opposition and he was playing up front and he was doing all sorts of madness, you know, stupid football. And I went, you know what, I'm going to go play at the back and play against him. And I remember giving a little bit of digs here and there, elbowed him. The boy didn't even budge, he wasn't phased. And then I must have switched off and he picked the ball up and put it top bins. And I went, oh my God, wow. Believe it. Like, this kid is serious. So I took him down with me to Crawley Down. That's when I was at Crawley Down at the time. And I remember introducing him to my manager and the chairman. Obviously, I was the skipper there. And they went to me, oh God, I've got this boy. You've got to look at him, And I remember we played Leatherhead. And first 45 minutes, Aaron, I don't think Aaron really touched the ball. It was new entity for him and everything. And I remember the manager going to me, nah, I'm not having him. Literally said, I was like, oh my God. So I remember going to him, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? And then I just said, mate, just be yourself on the pitch. Just go and do what you got to do. And you know what, down for that last 45 minutes, he was unbelievable. The chairman came up to me and went to me, can I put him on a contract? Like, oh, shit. Like, listen, I've watched Azza go from a young man into probably one of the best wingers you will ever find at grassroots football, and how he didn't go pro. I don't know why he didn't go pro, so I'm not going to expose him. But again, he's if you know Aaron, he's a very humble guy. You know, I don't think he actually knows how good he is himself. I'm always telling him how good he is. Like, I've seen things on the pitch that I think to myself, wow, this kid is unbelievable. Even down to this season, just finishing off, the goals he was scoring, how he sits people down, how he runs past people, it's amazing, you know. And I've been fortunate, one, to play with him, but most of all, manage him as well. And he's the one who probably sticks out at the moment in time because I've had him the longest. You mentioned Arjan. Arjan, wow. He's my non-league ZZ. That's what I call him. He's got a great touch. He's strong.
Is he both-footed?
No, but you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. The one thing Arsenal needs to point to his game, he needs to shoot more often. He's got such a ping on him and a strike. He's got to trust himself. And I remember one of the goals that he did score, I lost myself on the sideline. I went and celebrated and jumped onto the pitch with him because he done what I asked him to do. But Arjan is a problem. He's a problem. It's going to be a problem. Yeah. And again, it goes down to trust issues as well, because I remember he went to a club in a league above us and the manager was unsure about him. I said, what are you unsure about? Like, and I get this with a lot of managers, like, they're unsure about the players. And this is where I'm different. Don't be unsure about these players. Take a gamble, take that chance, and you see for yourself what you get for them. And I think that's why I've got this good relationship with all these players, because I've taken a gamble. I've made them believe and enjoy their football again, and that's what they've done. So ZZ for me, he's a player. He's the player to watch, seriously.
Yeah, no, 100%. And do you know what the thing is about him? Is that I kept hearing about him. And I've only actually seen him play once. And to be honest, the football that day wasn't great. But you know when you just know, you can just see, like, he played one pass that game, half volley, 40 yards, like diag, straight into someone's path. And when you can do that on a bobbly pitch, when the game's not flowing, it just shouted quality to me. It just sounded like, okay, this guy really is talented. And it kind of went hand in hand with the reputation I've been getting told about. Do you know what I mean?
And again, I remember when I first met Arjan, and he will probably agree with me as well. He was playing for Badham, and when we played them, we drew against them. He didn't really stand out. He wasn't the man to watch. But I did like him. I went for another player who was a holding player, which was a bit disrespectful to Arjan at the time. And I remember how I encountered Arjan. He was playing for Hanwell Town, and he was just sitting on the bench, and I got wind that, you know, he wanted to move, so I brought him down with me. And I've got this philosophy, obviously, you don't come into my team straight away, you know, you've got to earn the right. But when I watched him in training, I was like, you know what? There was, like, with all my players, I see something that probably other managers don't see. And I thought, you know, I can work with this kid as well. And since then, don't get me wrong, he's been unplayable. He's had a dip in form, which all players do. But again, when we talk about players and players that I like, I've got this core of players that wherever I go, they're coming with me, and he's one of them as well.
Jeez, that's so big, man. Bro, this has been a very insightful interview, because obviously we spoke about you, your managerial, where you're going to go. Obviously, I wish you nothing but the best for your next move. And wherever you do go, it'd be nice to come and maybe cover a game and record it and catch up with you then, but we'll see.
Mate, you're all welcome. And one thing that I do like as well is putting back into the community as well. You know, through your youngsters, grassroots, and obviously playing alongside yourself. Again, glad to see what you're doing with yourself and all that. And there's nothing in it for me. I always say to these players, you know, they all say, I have friends say, ain't there nothing in it? Like, don't you want to sell this place? Make a bit of money. I'm not interested in making no money. I'm not interested in making anything from this. I just want that platform that all the others can reach to as well. I will give you a platform, that's down to you to perform on it. And that's all I can do. And the only thing that I like from it, if you make it pro or anything like that, I just want a ticket. I just want to come and watch. That's cool. But I can actually then turn around and say, do you know what? I actually worked with him. And then in hindsight, if he becomes famous and he makes a book and he makes a small little paragraph about, you know, him playing football, making it into the game, and he mentions me, that's certainly enough for me that I made an impact on someone's life.
100%, and that's literally our goal as well. I just want to be able to give people the platform to perform, and obviously they have to take that responsibility into their own hands. We can't play for them, but it's good for them to get the opportunity and also know that it's there. Do you know what I mean? Like younger kids that maybe are not of the age to play men's football right now, but if there's an established platform they're looking up to, it can motivate them to still train day by day, and hopefully one day they'll get that opportunity there. Do you know what I mean?
With you, and just quickly on that note, because obviously when I went to Westfield, I remember my first pre-season with them, we had about 8 to 10 people. You know, now I can honestly say we have 40 to 50 people turn up for pre-season, and that just goes to show all youngsters, from no matter what colour they are. We have Asians, Chinese, Eastern European, black, white. I've got all types of players turning up now, which is good. So I'm not just looking at the grassroots football guys from broken homes or estate. This is cultural environment football, and everybody deserves that opportunity. Yeah,
man, 100%, man. Again, well, I 100% thank you for taking time out of your day, man, to catch up with me. It's good to see you and catch up anyway on a personal level, bro. It's been a long time, man. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, man, and we'll definitely catch up soon. I'm going to cut this up and throw it on YouTube. I'll send you the link, I'll tweet you, and we'll just go from there. But it'll be good to catch up again during the season when the season kicks back.
Definitely. You know, you keep up the good work, and you know what? You're still a baller, man. You're still a baller.
Hey, my brother. Hey, love, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, yeah?
You too, yeah. Bless you, yeah?
In a bit, bro.
Yeah.